This is the first MCU movie I'm reviewing on here. It's awesome, man.
Wow. Wow. Nice.
It's a good feeling. Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler. Welcome back to the Mind of a Nerd studio. And today we are talking about probably the other biggest movie of the year, other than The Batman. That is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Not in the Multiverse of Madness. In the Multiverse of Madness. You are
Yep.
in
Get that
the
straight.
Multiverse of Madness. Um, this was a movie that pretty sure we were all looking forward to. You know, it's an MCU movie. Obviously, you say MCU, all of us geeks are there day one. And, I think the hype for this movie was elevated by Mr. Sam Raimi coming on to direct. For those who don't know, Scott Derrickson was originally supposed to direct this movie, who directed the first movie, and then he dropped out due to creative differences. What a surprise! It's the MCU. Um, and so Sam Raimi took over, and I think I was interested for Scott Derrickson's version of this movie. I really was hearing, oh, Nightmare was going to be the main villain. It was going to be a straight horror movie. I was like, damn. But then when you hear, oh, it's still going to be a horror movie and Sam Raimi is going to direct it, I was like, yeah, I think I'm
Not too
okay with
shabby.
that. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Right.
So here we are. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and I saw this movie twice. I had to see it twice because my first theater experience was fucking terrible. If that asshole is watching this stream somehow, I hope you get AIDS because you are an asshole and you ruined my experience Thursday night. So I had to go see this again yesterday, which I was gonna see the movie again anyway, but you know, I hate that I have to see the movie twice to fully digest these movies without people being assholes. So walking into this movie, I didn't really have these skyrocket expectations, which we're gonna talk about having skyrocket expectations in a second. But I I was just kind of and this is what I always do. I always have to address this. I was just going in to watch the movie. Really um I didn't go in, with, oh, if this person doesn't show up, this movie's a 1 out of 5. Because I've seen some people say, oh, there's not enough cameos in this movie, which is ridiculous. I didn't expect there to be a lot of cameos, and hearing that coming out of the movie, I was actually happy about that because I was like, okay, good. It's actually gonna be a movie and not, I love Ready Player One, but I didn't want it to be MCU Ready Player One.
Hmm.
um and walking out Thursday, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. I was unsure about some things and I wanted to see it again to really hammer it home. And yesterday, again, I walked out and I was like, I really enjoyed that. I have problems with it, but I did enjoy it. I would say Multiverse of Madness is a really fun MCU. I would say it's like a horror roller coaster in the MCU. It's it's not really, at least for me, it's not really that deep. It's just you sit there, you enjoy the ride, and it's like an MCU haunted house, basically. You sit
Hmm.
there, you enjoy the ride, and you hopefully get scared,
Hmm.
and you enjoy it and have a lot of fun. And I indeed had a lot of fun with Multiverse Madness. AJ, what did you think of Multiverse of Madness, good sir?
Yeah. You said a lot of things that I was thinking about the film. As far as expectation going into it, I think I was the one out of our group chat that was just not quite excited. Of course, it's an MCU movie, so I'm gonna be there. Like, of course, I'm gonna be there. But my expectations and my hype level were depleted. I was just like, I'm not really hyped for this movie. Like,
Which we'll
I
talk about that
you know,
later too.
yeah. So going into this movie, I was like, I don't know what to expect. I know there's a lot of talk about cameos. I know there's a lot of talk about like who the what the film actually entailed, but like it was a lot of things we didn't know for sure, and we're gonna talk about that later. But actually sitting and watching the movie, I had so much fun with it. I'm a fan of horror films. I'm a fan of Raimi, and he was in his bag. He was in
Oh
his
yeah.
MCU bag, I would say. He was in his MCU bag. I don't know if it was fully Raimi, but it was definitely had that Raimi sprinkle, that charm in there for sure. So I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah.
All right, so we are going to get. Of course, you guys know how we do this. We do spoiler free, and then after final grades, we do spoilers. So, Multiverse of Madness was directed by Sam Raimi, stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Rachel McAdams, Benedict Wong. I don't know how to pronounce the girl who plays America Chavez, so I'm not even gonna bother. But she's in
Her
it,
last name is
obviously.
Gomez.
Yes, her last name
You
is
getting
Gomez.
spammed?
Um, ay, ay, ay. Thank you for that. I would not have seen it. Okay. And it is rated PG-13 for violence, action, and frightening images. I think that's an understatement. Let's hit the chat really quick before
We get deep
we yes,
because we going in.
Oh yeah. Mr. Ponto is in the chat. What is going on, brother? Jason Carr, MVP, what is going on?
What's up, man?
My little brother's in the chat. I heard this movie's scary, at least for me, bro. You'll have nightmares for years. Multiverse of Madness gave me goosebumps. It gave me goosebumps too, bro. So
Same.
All right, let's hit it. So right off the bat, the first positive for me is the directing. The directing of this movie was I was Jack Nicholson from Joker as the Joker the whole time. I was smiling ear to ear so hard. I was like, dude, this is awesome. Being a horror fan, especially a horror fan of Evil Dead, and seeing things in this movie, you cannot help but smile. You can't.
So true.
Seeing him do so many homages to Evil Dead, I was like, dude, this is amazing. Um, but yeah, I love that this feels like a Sam Raimi movie for the most part. You know, there's a lot of horror elements, and I feel like that should have been more well known or made well known, because like the trailer doesn't seem like it's horror. It doesn't seem like it's horror. Like the not in the sense that the movie is. It is
Yeah,
deep horror compared to
I
the
agree.
movie. Because
I
I would
agree.
say the trailer doesn't really give off the vibe of horror. It gives off the vibe of like, oh, this movie's gonna be crazy, but it doesn't give off the vibe of like, oh, it's gonna be like actually scary.
Yeah, it's
You
a little
know.
misleading in that way. It is.
The score by Danny Elfman, which apparently people don't like. I don't understand what your ears were hearing, because I thought the score was fantastic. The
Score was
musical
great.
cues are incredible. There's some cues with the villain of this movie that when they strike my ears, I smile so hard. But yeah, it's great. With Sam Raimi comes Danny Elfman, and they are a tag team to be messed with. They're both great. Feel like they're like Star Wars and John Williams, but forget it. Uh, Scarlet Witch. I'm mentioning her first for a reason, and we'll get into that in my negatives. Scarlet Witch is a fucking beast in this movie. I literally have that written down in my notes. She is a fucking beast in this movie. She is awesome. She is awesome. She is my favorite female MCU character, and it's for good reason. If you loved her coming off of WandaVision, I don't see you watching this movie and being like, I don't like her anymore. She is a beast. She was great. Elizabeth Olsen was great. Also, the acting across the board was solid across the board.
Yeah,
Benedict
solid,
Cumberbatch
very
once
solid.
again does a great job as Doctor Strange. I'm gonna say Miss Gomez. I'm sorry, I don't want to
Miss
butcher
Gomez. I get
anybody's
it.
names,
I
especially
get
since
it.
she's really good in the movie. I don't want to butcher anybody's names, but Miss Gomez was great in the movie as America Chavez. I've seen people divided on her too. I don't know why. I thought she was good, and I would go on record and say of the, because I'm assuming they're setting up Young Avengers at some point. I would say of the characters that we're getting for Young Avengers, this is probably one of my favorite ones. Yes, over Kate Bishop. I'm sorry, but I would say she is the one that has me most interested in a Young Avengers team or whatever. But yeah, Benedict Wong as usual. Wong. Matt's not here, but that's his boy.
Shout out, Matt.
Wong is great as usual.
Yep.
Rachel McAdams gets a lot more to do in this movie, which I
Mhm.
was happy about because she's good in the first movie. She's barely in it. She's in it here
She's not
more,
in
and
it.
I think she does a good
Definitely.
job.
I agree.
I don't think we're forgetting anybody. That was not shown in the trailer.
Mm.
Yeah, the horror elements are awesome, dude. The horror elements.
Yo.
Again, I did not
Yo.
find this movie scary, but the thing is, when I watch a horror movie, if I think something is a little scary or it's good, I'll be like, that was really cool. I
Mm-hmm.
said that was really cool a lot
Mm-hmm.
in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many times where there's jump scares, and I think they work.
Yeah.
There's creepy imagery, and it's like Conjuring level creepy
I'm ready.
in
I'm
some
ready.
parts.
I'm ready for MCU to dive into more
You
subgenres like
know,
this
I'm not
for
saying,
sure.
you know, that this movie's on the level of The Conjuring. It's not. But there are definitely some images that kind of reminded me of The Conjuring. There's one that we'll talk about in spoilers where I was like, dude, that is
Mm-hmm.
yo, that's creepy, bruh.
Yeah.
I would say the setup for the story was surprising, mainly because we didn't know who the villain of this movie was until we saw the movie, which I'm glad we were able to, you know, have that kept a secret, unlike
Mm-hmm.
some other things that we got spoiled by Marvel. Um, and I like the setup for the story a lot. I think the story in general I like a lot. The
Mm-hmm.
third act of this movie is awesome. It is awesome, especially the second time watching this movie. There's something that happens, and I was like, dude, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say the action sequences are. I've said again. This is another thing. I've seen a lot of people say the action sequences are underwhelming. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't relate. I
Mm-hmm.
like the action sequences a lot. That we get a pretty fun one in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in the second act that everyone is talking about for obvious reasons that I thought was awesome. The third act is really cool too. And there's even one towards the end of the second act that's really good too. So I don't know what people were talking about with the action sequences. Lastly, there's a lot of heartwarming moments. There's a lot of, especially catching it on the second watch. There's a lot of moments where you're like, oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Doctor Strange and America Chavez. I
Mm-hmm.
like their relationship a lot, especially on the second watch.
Yeah.
Wanda gets a lot of those heartwarming moments too, and I really like that. And you know, there's just, you know, there's a lot of heartwarming moments within these, you know, horrific, you know, MCU action sequency moments, and I really appreciated that. And the pacing I thought was pretty solid for the most part. There is a couple things with the pacing that I'll get into, but I thought for the most part it works. That's all I have for positives. What do you have for positives that I didn't say?
All right. So as far as positives go, like you said, the direction is probably the best thing about this film. The stylized choices that Raimi chose to put in this film, as far as cinematography and score, and when to use the score, when not to use the score, the sound mixing, sound design was amazing. And it brought a eeriness, a creepiness to the film that it definitely needed for the subject matter. So the direction, fantastic. As far as the characters, I think Doctor Strange could have used a little bit more development.
Well,
But
we'll get
other
into
than
that.
that, there were a lot of things in this film that I felt like it was a little bit out of character for him. So going into his character development, I think there it could have been better, but there are some things there that are well done. um Jason says they already made $229.3 million since Thursday. Insane. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
think the opening was bigger than the first Doctor Strange, which is not surprising.
Not surprising at all. Mainly, I think mainly because we are getting we it's multiverse, so we kind of have rumors going around and kind of hype going around. So
Yeah.
without spoiling anything, but
So,
yeah. So going on with the positives, I said the direction, the score, the cinematography is kind of something unlike we've seen in the MCU. Like we haven't seen, as many Dutch angles, as many, zoom ins
the
and slow
zooms,
mo. The zooms,
the
like they give
zooms.
you this creepy, they give you these creepy vibes. That Amy, Raimi, brought forth in this film, and it worked for the most part. Like you said, there are some scary images in this film. There's some scariness. I don't know, as for the kids, be advised.
Oh
Be
yeah.
advised for sure.
The frightening images on the rating is an understatement.
Yeah, that's it's definitely pushing that PG-13 rating for sure, and I don't think we really see that in the MCU much.
Which this is
Um,
another thing I want to talk about, the PG-13 rating. This movie
uh
has kills. They're brutal. They are brutal.
they're brutal.
Brutal. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so
I've seen.
I think some of them are off screen, or you don't really see exactly what happens, but like, and that sometimes that's creepier than actually
Yeah.
seeing what happens. Like you kind of just know what happens, and it's like, yo, this is this
Yeah.
MCU?
Um.
Is this the
Yeah.
MCU still?
This movie is violent, and I saw someone post this the other day, and I could not help but repost it. It was like, Sony, take notes, because why are we getting these lukewarm PG-13 Venom movies and Morbius
Yeah,
when this has a PG-13 rating and it does the things that it does in this movie?
it went there.
Because we see people die, we see blood, we see death. Like, why are we not getting this in the MCU? Because the excuse was, oh, they want to make money, so they're gonna make it PG-13. Okay, now it's not an excuse anymore,
Not an
because this
excuse.
movie's PG-13, and I at points I thought it was like light R. It was
Yeah, it
great.
definitely was like art in some
And I'm not
areas.
saying this is the most violent thing I've ever seen, but it's for the MCU. Yeah, it's the
When
most
you talk
violent
about
thing I've ever seen.
when you're talking about
And
MCU, it is.
it makes me happy that they went there. And I want to see
Mm-hmm.
more.
Yeah. It really
Um,
felt like they let him be creative in
yeah.
certain aspects of this film. Like there are some films in the MCU where it doesn't feel like it's as creative as it could be.
Mhm.
Studio interference, whatever may be. We want to sell tickets, we want butts and seats, so we're not gonna offend. But yo, this one went there, man. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, bro. But yeah, the writing for the most part was well done as well. Like I liked how the story was structured. You do feel the first, second, and third act pretty well. It doesn't blend together really. It has a strong beginning, middle, and end.
Mhm.
um and yeah, the writing as well, writing, directing, cinematography, those are my biggest positives of the film.
All right. So moving on to the negatives. I have more negatives than AJ did, but I do have a couple.
Yes.
Um, I feel like my biggest issue with this movie is I didn't bother me on the second watch, but the first time I thought the tone wasn't very well balanced, and I think it's more balanced on the second watch, but I still think it has issues. And what I mean is, this scene goes from the movie goes from people being viciously murdered and burned alive and killed, to the typical MCU tropes and jokes. And
Mm,
sometimes it's jarring, and it kind of changes the way you view the movie. And I wish that the movie just stuck to one tone more, mainly the
mm-hmm.
horror. um uh Mordo in this movie was kind of whack. uh I just, there's a reason why they did what they did with him in this movie, and I get it, but I was like, that's what you did. Okay.
Hmm.
And there's a story element that I really don't like that we'll talk about in spoilers with him. But when they revealed that, I was like, that's kind of cheap, but all right.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that Doctor Strange felt like a bigger deal in this movie than he does for me. I feel like Wanda definitely overshadows him in this movie. I feel like there's parts where he goes crazy and stuff, but again, I still feel like we have not seen anything on the caliber of Infinity War. Infinity War, I need that, and What If Strange, I need that too.
I
What
can
If
agree with What If
Strange?
Strange. I can agree with What If Strange.
Infinity War, he was going crazy. He was pulling spells out of his ass left and right, and that shit was crazy. And I feel like we have not seen that in either of these movies so far. Really, not in the crazy way for me. Um,
Okay.
what else? What else? What else? Strange again. Going back to Strange, I feel like Strange's character barely changes from the beginning of this movie to the ending of this movie. The same place that he starts is the same place that he ends. Other than the last like 30 seconds of the movie, which we'll talk about, I don't feel like his character went through a dramatic shift. He kind of
I can
just
agree with that.
he. I feel like he changed based off what people told him, not because he felt he needed to change. You get that? I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, that.
I can see that.
And my last negative is, well, not actually. I wish we had more multiversal characters, and I don't mean cameos, and we'll get into that. I don't mean cameos. That don't disregard that. I don't want cameos. I wanted it to be more. If you guys have seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, I needed that in the MCU. That I
You
feel like
wanted
that
them.
would have been crazy.
You wanted them to explore the multiverse more.
Yes. And lastly, bro, come on. Fucking hell, bro. Give me 1 second, yo.
I guess I'm taking over the stream. You back?
Yeah.
All right.
Now it's not letting me block them, dude.
Might just have to let them keep going. Just ignore it. Yeah, it says block for 5 minutes. Just keep going.
Lastly, my last issue with this movie was that the last like 30 seconds of this movie I felt was rushed as hell. Um I felt that it felt like a reshoot,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot. I was like, Jesus Christ, like really?
Mm-hmm.
And the post credit scene was even worse. The post credit scene definitely felt like it was a reshoot. I was like,
It
dude,
felt like it was very similar to the last 30 seconds of the film, too. It was like the same types of things happening.
yeah, it was just like, oh, we gotta do this. Okay, and it's like,
Hmm. Yeah, it didn't quite feel cohesive to the film as much as I would want it either.
okay, I guess.
Hmm.
Are there any negatives that you had with the movie?
Yeah, I had most of them are nitpicks for me because I don't think they're fundamental flaws. It's just things with me. As far as the villain is concerned, I didn't quite um connect with their plight. I understand where they were coming from. I understand what they what they're trying to accomplish and why they're trying to accomplish it, but it just didn't resonate with me the way that other villains in the MCU's standpoint has. So that was something that was a bit of a negative. As far as tone, I see where you're coming from with the tone, with the issue with tone. But we just watched Shang-Chi last night, and that was a perfect instance of where tone bothers me. Like a shift in tone bothers me. Like if it's that drastic, when they were on the plane and he was explaining to Katie how, you know, how his past was, and they interrupted it with a joke, like right smack dab in the conversation. Those are the type of tonal shifts that bother me. What we had here, there were certain transitions there, so it didn't bother me as much. um but I do see where you're coming from with that. As far as characters, there are some characters that could have used some more development. America Chavez, I feel like there could have been more character development from her. We could have seen a little bit more of her power set. I personally didn't know her power going into this movie at all.
Neither did I.
So I was taken aback when I found out what it was. And I was like, I want to see more of that. Like, I want to see more of what she can do. We saw a taste of it in the second act, but it wasn't fully brought to fruition until the third act. And by the third act, we just saw like pretty much one thing, the same thing that we've been seeing throughout the film. So I was just kind of like, man, I kind of wish we saw a little bit more of her power set, but it wasn't. That's also a nitpick of mine too, because it wasn't exactly necessary for the film, or you know, broke you know the film, but it's something I would have liked to see. But pretty much everything else I was fine with. I absolutely loved this movie. I do plan on seeing it again though on Tuesday, just to kind of like solidify my thoughts a little bit, hammer
I
in
want
my
to see it
thoughts
again.
like you.
I
I
want to
know
see it
you want to see it
again.
again.
I
I know
do.
you
I
want to see
do.
it again.
I want
But
to see
it's
it again.
fun, man. It's so fun in a dark way, but it's awesome.
All right, so let's get into final grades. We sped through the spoiler free because I know we didn't talk about a lot because there is a lot of spoilers.
There is.
If you have survived without being spoiled, God bless you. Oh, I guess we didn't talk about that. Marvel, please stop spoiling your movies in the fucking trailers, please. I understand this movie did not have a lot of hype, but that doesn't mean you go and release a 30-second TV spot spoiling probably the best scene in this movie. Legitimately. So please stop. You want to create hype for your movie, that's on your end, not ours.
Yeah.
Why should we have to pay the price and be spoiled because you failed to create hype for your movie? That's not our fault. So stop, please. We don't want to know half the fucking movie walking in. It's bad enough we had to deal with it with No Way Home. And we almost would have gotten away with it this time if you didn't spoil half the movie in the trailers. Final grades.
Moving on.
For
Talk
for
about a total
me,
shift.
for me, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is a lot of fun. It's not perfect and it has its issues, but I again, as I said before, I think this is basically an MCU haunted house roller coaster. I think it's a lot of fun and it has the creepy imagery. And if you're in the mood for that, like in October, I feel like we're gonna be watching this a
We're
lot,
definitely gonna be
and
watching this
I'm happy
every
about that.
October.
I'm happy about that.
Gonna be a
And
tradition.
I hope that I don't know who's directing it, but the werewolf, the Wolfman, whatever thing for Disney Plus, that horror special. I hope it's like this. I hope it commits to
Mm-hmm.
the horror because
Mm-hmm.
if it is, that's gonna be a staple for October. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually very excited for that. But in terms of my final grade for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it is a solid 4 out of 5. Critic score would be a 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I look forward to watching it again. AJ, what is your final score for this movie?
My final score. I love this movie, man. I had so much fun with it. It's different, it's stylized, it's MCU, bro. And I just had a lot of fun with it. So I'm gonna definitely give it another watch.
Mhm.
But for right now, My score is a 5 out of 5, man. But as far as out
Five
of
out of
10,
five.
out of 10, I'm gonna say a 9.5 out of 10.
Think that's the first 5 out of 5 on our channel, on my
Yeah,
channel.
man.
I've
Yeah.
because I've never given a 5 out of 5, not yet.
Hmm.
Sonic came close, bro. Sonic came close. Um, if we had reviewed the Batman in March, it would have gotten it. Um, but yeah, man, that is the spoiler free section of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness concluded. If you guys have not seen the movie, I know it's Saturday. If you guys have not seen the movie and don't want to be spoiled, get out, because we are going to talk full spoilers for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes, sir.
So we are not going to talk about everything in this movie. I wrote down the pretty big moments in this movie, not a lot. So
Mhm.
we're going to basically go from the beginning to the end, and if I miss something, you know. So the movie starts with Superior Strange? No, not Superior Strange. It's like it's another Doctor
One of the
Strange.
strangest, yeah. It
And we
starts us right
see,
off with the
yeah,
action, though. They
it's
really do. They
awesome.
go into it.
It's a great sequence, and we see the Strange helping America Chavez, and they're running from this demon thing. And I feel like
Hmm.
this was a great opening scene because it sets up kind of what the movie's gonna be like. Because
Hmm.
we see the violence kind of peeking its
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Uh and I really like this sequence. It's kind of confusing because you see this Strange trying to take her power. She's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And we know it's a different Strange, but we're like, "Oh, why is this happening?" And
Yeah.
then that Strange is fucking murdered beyond
Yep. He
belief.
gets murdered very
Yeah, he
quickly.
was DUD. Um,
Gun though.
and so you see her open a portal of a star, which I've seen people say, "Oh, I think it's cheesy that the portals are stars." I like that.
I love that.
I like
I
that.
didn't even know that people thought that about that.
I
I love the star.
because I don't want everyone's powers to look the same.
Yeah, we
Her
already
having the
got the
portals,
circle.
her having the stars as the portal gives her identity, and it's
It
cool.
does.
I
It
really
does.
like that.
We already
Um,
got Doctor Strange in the sling ring as a circle, and then we got
yeah.
in the Shang-Chi, get drive when they were driving into Tai Lao, that's a circle
Mhm.
too. You
Yeah.
know? Let's get a star.
So we get a action sequence that we've seen in the trailers numerous times. We've seen it's when they fight the big octopus or squid, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought this action scene. Well, before that, we get Strange going to Christine's wedding,
She's wedding, yeah.
and we get a scene with him and the doctor from the first movie that he made to be a fool because he was the one that was calling the patient like dead, and
I
he
was like,
wasn't.
who is this guy? I had no idea who that guy was.
I knew he was from the first movie. I knew that.
Okay.
And I thought this scene was a little strange. I wish the dialogue in it was a little bit better because he was like, "Oh, my cat died and my
I
brother
actually
died."
when he said my brother, I actually kind of laughed because I was like, why wouldn't you start with your brother? Why would you say your cat
I
first?
don't
I was
know. I
like,
feel like the line delivery in that scene was a little bit weird, but I do like what he says after. He said he
mm-hmm,
acts strange. He goes, "Was that the only way?
mm-hmm,
Destroying half the universe?" And he was like, "Yeah, that was the only
yeah,
way." And I really like that. You
mm-hmm.
know, I because I feel like people would ask that
This
question, like you single-handedly were responsible for the annihilation of half the universe. Was that really the only way?
I think that's a great question because that's how the audience has felt since Infinity War.
Really?
I feel like that's how the audience has felt. Like, was that really the only way? Because I've had conversations with people like Doctor Strange. Did he really only see one way? You
I've
know?
never felt that because he literally says, "I saw 14 billion possibilities."
Yeah, but I think that's kind of a question that was circulating. I've talked to people that have thought that too.
I've never felt that personally.
Hmm.
So then we get a nice scene with him and Christine, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I never stopped caring about you." And she was like, "Listen, you were always the one. You were the problem. It was never me. You were always the problem." And
Mm-hmm.
then I love this moment. I have to touch on this moment when Doctor Strange, I don't want to say transforms, but costumes up. We'll say costumes
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's Sam Raimi, bro. Sam Raimi knows how to do a damn good costume up, man. Yeah, I love it. I didn't notice it the first time. The second
Mhm.
time I noticed he has his cape in his little
Yeah.
the suit pocket, the jacket
Mhm.
pocket, and it's his
Yep.
handkerchief. I was like, that
Yep.
is hilarious. That's
Takes it out,
awesome.
whips it out, and he's
It's
transformed.
awesome. It was the first time I saw them, I was like, that is such a Sam Raimi thing, dude. That's awesome.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we get this awesome action sequence with the squid, and I really like this. It was intense. The magic being Sam Raimi, I would say, other than Infinity War, this is the most unique magic we've seen of Doctor Strange because the first thing he does is unleash this fucking like monster thing coming out of his hand.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what is this?
Yeah, I was a little weirded out by that. I was like, oh, okay, this is. But
Mhm.
the reason I say I was weirded out is because I don't think we see that like throughout
We
the
don't.
fight. He
Yeah.
throws it at him and then it's gone.
Well, that happened, and then we saw him like summon some hands or something. It
Hmm.
was like, yeah, so we saw that too.
Yeah, it was cool though. I was like, oh, that's different. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Wong got in on the action. Wong is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I love the moment where he was messing him up and he falls. And it was
Yeah.
great. It was great.
It was.
I love, even though it's not a running joke because it doesn't last the whole movie. I love when he Wong is like, "Oh, it's custom to bow to the Sorcerer Supreme." I was like, "That's funny."
Mm-hmm.
And then later they all do it.
They
He was like,
bow.
"Told you, it's custom."
See,
He's
see,
like,
it's
"This
custom.
motherfucker." Um, but yeah, the fight was great, and then we find out that America Chavez has the power to travel through the multiverse,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh, there's no other version of me," which I think did she give a reason for why there's no other version of her?
Nah, they never touched on that. They
'Cause I
just
feel
said
like
it.
that's a little bit weird that
It's a
throughout
little
the
it's a
whole
little weird,
multiverse.
but it's not that weird because of what her power set is. I feel like
Yeah.
it kind of would make sense that
Well, I mean,
only
she
one
doesn't have
person.
to. The other version wouldn't have to have her powers. She could just be America Chavez without the
I know,
powers.
but she's attached to all the multiverses.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like
Yeah,
it would have
she's
been kind of cool if they were like, "Oh, this monster version killed all the versions of her." That would have
that
been
would
kind
have
of
been
cool.
interesting, but I kind of like how she's not. It's how it's no other America Chavez because it that's another thing that makes her unique. There's no other version of her in all the multiverses, which there's
Yeah,
another version of everyone else. So
that's
this
cool.
that's
No, I don't
what makes
mind
her
that there's
stand out
one
too.
version of her. I just wish they elaborated on it a little bit.
I
She's
do
just
too.
kind of just like, "Oh, there's no other version of me."
I tried to
Why?
find. Yeah, I tried to
Okay.
find me. Yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
so then they talk about the strange that died, and she was like, "Oh, I can't trust you because he tried to kill me," and he's like, "Well, I'm not him, so come on." And then he's like, "Oh, this wound is witchcraft, it's not sorcery." And Wong is like, "Oh, do we know anybody who's a witch?" And then they introduce her, so awesome, my wife. um I love the way they introduce her so much. It's awesome. They
Yeah.
keep it, treading from WandaVision. We get this, I guess, dream sequence,
Dream
I
state,
guess.
yeah, she's in
Uh
in a dream.
but I don't think we can, well, based on what we find out in this movie, I don't think we can really call it a dream sequence. I think we call it she was seeing another universe.
Yeah, but I mean,
So
she was technically asleep.
yeah,
So
but we find out in this movie that basically when you dream, you're dreaming of another multiverse, which
yeah.
I'm sure the memes about that are going to be hilarious. We get a great joke from Wong where he is like, "Oh, so that dream where I'm naked running away from a clown, that's real in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
universe."
that's
I
real
was
in
like,
another
"That's funny."
universe. Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah, yeah, that sounds about
that got
right."
me thinking about my own dreams.
Yeah, right. Because I'd be dreaming some weird shit and I'd be like, "Oh
That's
man,
actually happening to
in
someone.
another universe." Um,
Sheesh.
so we get a great scene where she's tucking in the kids from WandaVision, which
Mhm.
I guess we talk about it here because I don't think people really expected them to be in the movie most of the time, but I think the kids did a good job.
Mhm.
You know, feel like it's always nice to mention when kid actors are good because most of the time they're not, and when they're
Mhm.
good, You know, it's nice to be like, hey, you're young, but you're doing a good job. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's nothing compared to the kids in A Quiet Place, though. I know I've seen people say, oh, I don't think they're good. I don't know what you're talking about. I love the kids in A Quiet Place,
The kids in the
especially
Quiet Place aren't good. People say that.
yeah, I've seen people say that, especially the brother. I've seen people say that they don't like him. I don't know why, because
He's
I
one of.
thought
I think he's one of the best kid actors out here
yeah,
working
he's
today.
great. So then we get this great scene where she's talking in the kids, and then she wakes up and figures out it's not real, and we go to a scene where Doctor Strange, you see it in the trailer, goes to Wanda. And am I the only one that when she was like, "Oh, it's an apple tree," I was like, "Damn, I kind of want to smell what that smells like." I'm not gonna lie, bro.
I didn't feel that, but I can see where you're
I don't
coming
know,
from.
man. I'm a man who likes a good apple, bro. I love me a good apple, bro. So hearing that, and then
Oh,
especially when he was like, "Oh, it's like sweet," I was like, "Damn, I want to know what
I
that
want an
smells
apple
like."
now.
I love me a good apple, bro. Never put
That's
an
hilarious.
thing of apples in front of me. I'll shred that, especially Granny Smith. Oh my god, bro,
You love you
bro.
some Granny Smiths.
Love me some
Wow.
Granny Smiths.
Wow.
So we get this scene with Wanda where basically he's like, "Oh, what do you know about the multiverse?" Blah blah blah, and she reveals that she knows who America Chavez is, and I didn't notice it the first time until the fucking asshole next to me was like, "Ooh, he didn't tell you her name,"
And that was an exact line. Like
and
I didn't say her name.
I would have loved the reveal if this fucking asshole next to me didn't say it. So yeah, she reveals that she knows what's happening, and he's like, oh fuck. So then I love when I didn't expect this. I love when she's like, oh, this is all fake. I was like,
hmm
oh shit.
Yeah.
And
Do you feel like she was actually altering reality or altering his mind to see that? Because that's kind of something that we've been
I
talking
think
about.
reality, because it looked like a lot like Infinity War when the reality would woof. It looked a
Yeah,
lot like that.
yeah. It just has never been revealed in her power set to do that. So,
So then we get this really
well, I
good
guess
scene
Westview.
where yeah,
Yeah.
we get this really cool scene where it's a good dialogue scene where she's like, I want my kids back, and Strange is like, what is wrong with you?
hmm
He's like, you can't do this, they're not real. And she is so obsessed in this movie, and I really like that a lot. I've seen people say, I know we were having this discussion where it's like, oh, it's not really like it's not believable. I know you had this issue, and John, he's not here, but John was like that. If it was Mrs. Stew's kids, that you know she'd be doing the same thing because it's her kids, no matter if they're real in the world or not.
Yeah.
And you know,
I never felt that it was not believable. I completely understand. Like I said in the non spoiler review, I I completely understand where she's coming from. I understand her standpoint, her state of mind. I understand that she's a mother, in her mind, so that's what motivates her. But I personally can't connect with that motivation. That's why I couldn't lower
mhm,
my score for that, because that's just personal. Like, I know that a mother will do anything for her babies. So,
yeah.
I get it.
So then basically the scene ends and she's like, "Oh, I want America because she could travel through the multiverse to get my kids." And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "If you don't bring her, Wanda ain't coming for her. The Scarlet Witch is coming for her."
Scarlet
And I
Witch is
was
coming.
like,
Oh yeah, I was like, yo, oh, they not ready.
"Yo,
They not ready.
I wasn't ready for what she was about to do, bro." I was like, "Ooh,
Oh
about to get the
man, when
smoke."
she said that, I was like, it's on. It's on,
Yeah.
bro. It's on, bro.
And I did like when they first of all the transitions in this movie I really liked. They were so
Mm-hmm.
Sam Raimi. When she
Mm-hmm.
says, "Oh, the Scarlet Witch is coming," then you see Wong and it fades out. I'm like, that is so
Mm-hmm.
Sam Raimi, dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can see
that
why
was
people
dope.
don't like it, but I dug it.
It's
So
stylized, man. I feel like
yeah, it
all
is.
everything else is so cookie cutter. Let's get some style in here, man.
Mhm,
I love it.
definitely. I love the line where America is like, so the person that's trying to kill me, who you just told where I am, is coming to get me right now. He's like,
Mhm.
yeah. I did like
Pretty
that.
much.
And I liked how this scene. So Wanda goes to Carmitage, and Carmitage is like a fortress, and they bring in all these sorcerers from like around the world. I was like, damn,
Yep.
calling a 7-nation army of sorcerers for this
Yep.
bitch.
Yeah, I mean, you already know. You already know.
So I really did like that. I like the dialogue scene where she was like, just know this is me being reasonable. I was like,
It's
yo.
like if
So
it wasn't on before, it's on now.
oh yeah. So they reveal that they have like this force field behind Carmitage, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though this line is a little, this was definitely a Sam Raimi line where he was like, "Fortify your mind."
Fortify your mind.
The way he said that, I was like, I don't know if that was supposed to be funny, but it was.
That's so Wong too.
So she's trying to figure out a way, and they keep throwing everything but the kitchen sink at her, and she finds a loophole. And I love this is the first example, man. Yo, the theater, you can hear a pin drop in this theater, except for the fucking asshole next to me. You can hear a pin drop. I enjoyed this more the second time because the second time nobody was really talking. You hear a pin drop in the theater, and you see her behind him. The first time I said, "Oh fuck!"
No.
I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yo.
And you just hear her go, "Run!" And he's like, "Oh!" And then everyone is fucking going crazy,
running,
and
she
oh,
gets in there.
it was so cool. And then everyone's like, "Fuck, fire!" And she unloads and goes crazy. She fucking there's this dude on the floor, and she just goes poof and woof. I said,
She really out here killing people though.
I was like, yo,
I didn't really think that she was about to do that. I didn't think
what's going on, brother?
Alex, what's up, bro?
So we get this great scene where I guess she was visualizing where Strange is, and they're like, "Oh, get America back here. We gotta lock her down or whatever." So she comes face to face with him, and I thought he put her in the mirror dimension. I guess not. He just put her in this weird thing.
I
don't know
feel like
what
that
it
was the weird mirror dimension. I feel like
It
that
might
was the
have been
mirror dimension. Yeah, but it was it was like
a
closed off. It was like
contained,
a box
yeah.
contained. Yeah, but she found a loophole where she could reach
I
into
love this scene,
reflections,
man,
bro.
where I loved when
reach into
she did the
reflections
thing and the
to
glass was
close the
like,
doors. Oh
and
yeah.
She cast a spell, and you hear, and it was great. The sound mixing in this movie is fantastic, and it's so the sound mixing is fantastic, man. It's so quiet, and you know this movie's investing where you don't hear a pin drop from the audience because they're all like, "What the fuck is happening?" So she reaches in, and they reveal that she can, grab people through the reflections. And the asshole next to me was being annoying, but I did laugh at this when she grabbed the people through the fucking puddle. He was like, "Oh, that's some Mortal Kombat shit."
It is though.
Like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, that was crazy.
Come here.
And, yeah. And they're like, "Oh, cover the reflection." That this was the stupid moment from America. She sees the other puddle, and she's just looking at it. And then Wanda's like, "Come here."
You see her eye.
Yeah.
Yo, you can see her eye.
I did like that. She was like, "Ah," and she splashed the puddle. I was like, that was cool. So then, oh my god, this is one of my favorite shots in the movie. She comes out of the gong, and she looks like straight. I'm telling you, man. James Wan was watching this. He said, "Sam Raimi, you motherfucker."
For real, bro.
She comes out of this fucking gong, all fucking, broken and shit. I said, "Holy fuck!"
It was like out of It Chapter 1.
Legitimately, I was like, "Holy shit!" So then we get Strange. They start going at it, and Strange throws like these snakes or dragon things at him, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out or whatever, and then she wins the fight. So then she's trying to take America's power, and Strange tackles America, and they go through. She opens the portal, and they go through the portal. Scarlet Witch shot a thing at Strange and they hit him. I thought it was gonna be more serious than what it
Yeah,
was.
it was. It wasn't.
I was
It hurt
like,
the
oh,
cape though.
the cape, yeah, the
The
cape is a
cape, man.
character in this movie.
He's
The
a
cape,
character.
the cape is on the level of BB-8. He's great.
Mhm.
Um,
I wish that
so
he had a little
then
bit more personality in this movie, though.
I feel like they gave him a lot when he got knocked down in the beginning and he's slapping him. I was like, that's
Oh,
funny.
mm-hmm.
So then we get a in IMAX. This was incredible when they showed it. They showed it in the trailer, but this scene in the movie is incredible when they jump through the multiverses and they're hopping through the multiverses. I feel like this was a better example of the scene from Rise of Skywalker, which I hate in the beginning, where they're like, I forgot what they call their light speed jumping or whatever, and they keep jumping from like planet to planet or whatever. That's what this reminded me of, but it was so much better. You see all these multiverses. You see like fucking futuristic. You see paint. You see
Yeah.
animated.
Yeah.
One looked like cyberpunk, and AJ hit it on the head last night that when we get the 4K, we're returning the speed to like 25, so we
Yep.
can see all the
We about to see
multiverses.
everything in those multiverses.
And one of the universes it looked like cyberpunk, and I was like, that reminds me of 2099 Spider-Man, which is ironic because we're getting across the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, that scene was so cool. So they end up in this other multiverse, and they're like, "Oh, we got to find another me, so that way we can get the book, which they showed in the beginning. It's this book, the Book of Ashanti, I think it's called. And I've seen the memes already. It's fucking hilarious. The Book of Ashanti, which basically it feels like a little bit of a plot device where when they explain it, they're literally just like, yeah, it gives anybody anything they need to defeat whatever. It's like,
yeah, it that is a little bit of a reach, bro.
that's a little broken.
I didn't even think about that until right now.
That's like, so
This
if
is a
Iron
book that
Man
gives you
found
anything to beat anything that you need to beat.
so if like Iron Man
What?
found this in Infinity War, he would have beat Thanos even if he had 5 of the stones. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
all right, I guess. I mean, I like it. It is a reach, but I do like that it gets destroyed, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't
So
really matter.
they go to the Sanctum in this universe, and they reveal that Doctor Strange in that universe is dead and that he died fighting Thanos. And we get Mordo from this universe coming out, and I saw the joke coming a mile away when they were looking at each other, and he was like, "Oh, brother, hi." I was like, oh, "Of course you did that." Um, Such a
But that's not
predictable
how he was
MCU
really
joke.
feeling, though.
Yeah, yeah. At first, I
That's
was
how
like,
it
oh,
was revealed.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I was talking about in the spoiler-free section that I'm pissed off at. So Doctor Strange says, "Oh, in my universe, Mordo tried to kill me like 18 times or something." And if you're not caught up, you're like, "What?
Yeah.
When did this happen?" That's because we have not seen it.
We
You know
never see.
why?
Yeah, that never
Because
happened.
the honestly great post-credit scene from the first Doctor Strange is meaningless now because apparently the payoff to that movie happened.
It
already.
happened off screen.
So the sequel that you set up that was no doubt going to be good because Chiwetel Ejiofor is a great actor. I would have loved to see him as the main villain of a Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
Just we're never going to get that ever.
Unless
And
we
that
see it
bothers
in flashbacks.
And
That's the only
that
way we'll
bothers
get it.
me. That bothers me personally because
Yeah.
number one, he's a great actor, and I think honestly the MCU should be honored to have an actor like this in their cast. To be honest, it's like having Robert Redford in your cast. Like, bro, what? And that pisses me off because you got a lot of people excited for that, and just throw it away like yesterday's trash. That pissed me off, especially on the second watch. So they talk about how they have the books on this universe. They have the Darkhold and the Book of Ashanti. It's there. So
Vashanti.
Ashanti, yeah. So we get the reveal that, oh no, Mortal's bad or whatever. and they get poisoned, and they wake up in this prison cell, and they reveal that Christine is there too, which we saw in the trailers. And she reveals that basically she, I don't want to say created the multiverse, but established the multiverse because she
Yeah,
names all the
names of.
Earths.
Mm-hmm.
And man, when she said, "Oh, your Earth is Earth 616," I said, "Oh,
Establishing
let's
the multiverse
go!"
even more.
I was like, "Let's go!"
You know
All the
what?
geeks.
I think we passed the Bruce Campbell thing.
Oh, I mean, I didn't really think it mattered, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't. But we see Bruce Campbell in this movie for a minute, and it's kind of just like one of those Spider-Man cameos. And it's goofy. I think that's what one of the things you were talking about though with the tonal shifts.
a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I get that.
I mean, I liked it for the sake of the post credit scene because I did
Mm-hmm.
like that post credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was fine, I guess.
Yeah.
So they reveal that the Illuminati is here, which we'll talk about that in a second. I want to talk about the Wanda thing, and then we'll go into the Illuminati. So Wanda is hopping through the multiverse, and she finds the universe that she dreamed of in the beginning of the movie, and
Mm-hmm.
she takes over the mom. And this random character who has a Funko Pop, why I don't know, she's like, "Oh, I have to stop her," and so she takes the Darkhold and destroys it, and she loses the connection to the multiverse. And Wong is like, "Oh, that it was a copy, it was a copy," and I missed that the first time, I guess.
Mm.
That oh, it was a copy, it was a copy. It's not the real
Mm-hmm.
thing. The real
Yeah.
thing is it's transcribed in the
It's
walls
true.
of like this temple.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, "All right, let's go." So then they go, and I feel like this was the ultimate WandaVision Stan moment when they get there. And I love the sequence. The sequence is great when he's like, "Oh, you don't know what's gonna be here," and she's lighting the things, and that fucking thing just comes out. Um, and I love this was such a WandaVision Stan line, man, when she's like, "Oh, it's not a temple, it's a throne." I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"It's my wife.
Not a temple. It's a
That's
throne.
my wife."
Yeah.
I loved it. It was great. So here is the. I feel like everyone who's seen the movie is waiting for me to talk about this. Uh, the probably the best scene in the movie, I would say this or the
Definitely
third
the
act.
standout scene of the movie.
So they walk. I feel like this was the scene everyone was waiting for, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So they walk in to this room and immediately show Peggy. They show her arm, and her shield is thrown, and she gets an awesome reveal, and she's like, "Shut up."
Mm-hmm.
And she looks great. I love Haley Atwell. I think she's a very underrated actress, if you ask me. I can't wait to see her in Mission Impossible 7 if we ever fucking get that movie.
Dead Reckoning. We got a
And
title.
you know, I love seeing her. I think she's great. I love her in Captain America: The First Avenger. I do. And even though I don't think it's necessary, nor would it ever happen, watching her in this movie, I was like, kind of want a Peggy movie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I
Mm.
would not mind a Peggy movie. She's great. I really do like her, you know, and that's not just me, you know, being a geek. I really like her a lot. So then we get the reveal that Black Bolt from the Inhumans was there.
I had no idea who this character was
Yeah,
watching this
neither
movie.
neither did Kevin. Kevin's not in the chat, but neither did he. He literally asked me, "Who is that?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, it's Black Bolt from the Inhumans," which I was like, that's cool. Maybe we'll get a actual good version of the Inhumans this time. You
It
know,
looked like the
assuming they
guy
do
from
something.
it looked like the guy from Peacemaker.
Cool.
The villain guy, the
White
short
Dragon?
dude. The short dude with the green spandex and the
Oh, Judo Master.
judo master. Yeah.
But it was cool. First of all, his costume looked fantastic. That's
Mm,
straight out of the comics. I was like,
mm.
wow, that's really cool. Then we get the reveal that I don't know her name, but Monica Rambeau's mom I guess Photon is Captain Marvel in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Photon.
was like, that's cool. I thought the suit was a little underwhelming. I was like, why is it black? Could have done. You could have even made it black and yellow, like the other comic costume. Well, that's cool. Whatever. It's
Mm-hmm.
fine. So
Mm-hmm.
then we see Mordo is a part of the Illuminati too. And then probably the loudest I've heard in the theater in my life since No Way Home. They knew what they were fucking doing
They knew
too.
what they were doing.
I've seen people. Why was he not there? Because it was for good reason.
Yeah.
Fucking. And I love the way they say it. It was like, oh, the smartest man in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking John Krasinski comes out of a boom tube wearing a Fantastic Four uniform.
I honestly couldn't believe what I was seeing. I said, huh? I said it loud. I was like, huh?
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. John Krasinski is in the MCU.
They did
as Reed Richards, bro. And listen, I understand people have issues with fan service, whatever. When we want a fan casting, we fucking get a fan casting.
For sure.
Okay?
For sure.
And when we hit it on the head, I feel like they know we hit it on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Because they give it to us.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some fan castings when you're like, that's so stupid. Like, to me, in my opinion, I don't like the idea of Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine. That's my opinion on that. Yeah. But it's this was the main one for years, dude. People were like, long time. I need this.
Yeah.
And they fucking did it. And
yeah, even if it was to kind of pacify us, because this is another multiverse, this is not in the continuity that we're definitely going to be seeing.
There's no way we don't get them.
We're getting John Krasinski as Reed Richards in other multiverses too.
Well, not other the Fantastic Four movie. I feel like he's going to play him
in the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, I feel like he will. I don't feel like because he just did an interview and was like, "Oh, I'm willing to work with Feige if he gave me the call to direct the movie, that I would do it." And I said this, and I was like, I would not mind if he directed Fantastic Four movie. Because of the way he sounded in that interview. He sounded like a little kid ready to go. He was like, bro, Feige is awesome. I love him. If you gave me the call, I'm on the plane ready to go. Wow. And I'm like, dude, I need that.
Well, seeing this, I had the mindset that, okay, all these characters are, they met their demise. We'll talk about that scene in a second. But they met their demise. And I felt like, all of these, it was just kind of to pacify us a little bit, because we did get that fan casting, which was awesome. We got Captain Carter, which was awesome. We got Professor X, which was amazing,
in the yellow wheelchair.
In the yellow wheelchair, bro. So we got all that stuff, but it was kind of temporary because it was a different universe. So I felt like that was kind of an easy way out, but it was also really fun to watch.
Oh yeah, dude. I feel like, you see, I figured they were gonna do what they did in this scene, and they did, and that's why I was saying, I was like, I feel like Sam Raimi is gonna be labeled as a troll because he gave us these people. Mm-hmm. And then proceeded to fucking murder them in 5 seconds. Mm. And I was like, they pulled The Last Jedi, and I love it. That's hilarious. They trolled everybody. I'm not mad because I was like, that's a bold move, and I like that.
It's
and
bold.
I also like The Last Jedi.
It was fun to see.
Let's hit the chat really quick. Alex said she was like Pennywise. Yeah, she was.
She was. For real.
I love the backstory in the universe. Yeah, it's cool. Danny Smithson is in the chat. What's going on, brother? Camera work in this movie. Yeah. You want pizza ball? I think you're the only one. Them shits look nasty, bro. You're stealing my wife? Bro, I got Anna de Armas on the phone, bro. Don't play with me, bro. Don't tempt me.
Y'all crazy, man.
Seeing the Illuminati was dope. Yeah,
It was dope. I want to see it again.
Bro, I told y'all your heads were going to explode. I told y'all. Like
this geek out here, he knew what we were getting when we seen it.
Because someone spoiled it for me. I didn't go looking for it.
So that sucks, man. I wish he would have found that out
But
watching
again,
the
I'm not
movie.
mad because I had my suspicions that he was going to be in the movie because it was a multiverse movie. I was like, I feel like he's going to show up.
I get it.
Uh,
I get it.
to go back really quick to what you were saying about pleasing the fans, I don't think that's entirely true because I feel like if that's true, we would have gotten Tom Cruise as Iron Man.
I get that, but I feel like with these particular characters that we got, Captain Carter, I don't think Captain Carter is gonna make another appearance
No,
in the MCU. I don't think
that was
um
definitely because of What If.
yeah, I don't think Charles Xavier, this version of Charles Xavier
Hmm.
is going to show up in the MCU.
I
So
mean, I
that's what I
hope with the
mean by that.
chair. I hope with the chair.
Probably with the chair, but probably a different actor.
Also, I
Um,
totally missed this. If you guys caught this, let me know. Apparently, they played the X-Men theme song when he shows up.
they definitely
I
did.
did not catch that.
They
Maybe
definitely
because
did.
I couldn't hear a fucking thing because the whole theater
Because they were
exploded.
cheering for
Uh,
Professor X. Yeah, they played
I
that
wanted Tom
theme,
Cruise.
man.
Yeah,
Oh my
I did
gosh.
too. I did too a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, just a little bit. But I wasn't so mad we didn't get him. I was upset when you see what Captain Marvel does in this movie, and I'm like, so we couldn't get Tom Cruise. We couldn't get
Oh.
Tom Cruise over her. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So after this, they basically talk about we get the reveal that Thanos was a thing in this universe and Doctor Strange killed him, but it was only after he got the dark hold and started what is it called? Dream walking? That's
Dream
what it's
walking.
called.
Yeah.
Which
Hmm.
would they say that and I can't help but think of Nightmare on Elm Street when they say
Yeah.
dream
Dream
walking.
walking. Yeah. It
Uh,
does remind you of Nightmare on Elm Street.
so they were like, "Oh, he's dream walking. When you dream walk, it corrupts you, kind of like Wanda." So
Yeah.
they were like, so he made a deal with them. And what happened that he destroys a whole nother universe?
Who does?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. I don't recall that particular
Let
thing.
us know in the chat, but I think that's what they said that he destroyed a whole nother universe and he was out of control.
I
So
knew that he was out of control. He got corrupted from the Darkhold.
I think Captain Marvel says that he led to a universe being like totally destroyed and everyone died in it.
Okay.
So that's why they kill him on Titan.
Yeah, on
And
Titan.
there you see Thanos at DUD.
Yo, you see Thanos in the corner dead, bro. That
uh,
was wild.
so they're like, oh, we're gonna kill you because you're out of control. And Black Bolt is like, oh, I'm sorry. And I do like that Professor X and Doctor Strange, I guess, have some sort of connection with each other because you get the scene later when he's handicapped and Doctor Strange is like, oh, I trust him, I believe him, and nobody else on the Illuminati did. And I was like, I like that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So then they reveal that, oh, you gotta, we're capturing you because Doctor Strange is dangerous. And even though you probably might not, we can't take that risk of you not destroying the multiverse. So they're like, fuck this shit, we're locking you up. You're done.
Yeah.
So then Wanda takes, she gets the Darkhold and she's doing her thing and she takes over the, I want to call it the WandaVision version of Wanda because that's basically
Yeah,
what it
it kind of
is.
it's basically what that version of Wanda is.
So, yeah, Danny says he destroyed another reality. Yeah.
Okay.
So, we'll say she took over the WandaVision rid of Wanda. So, WandaVision Wanda gets corrupted or whatever. And she's like, all right, let's get to work. Goes in to the Illuminati. And I love the line where the alarms start blaring and dude, I cannot believe I was watching John Krasinski in a blue suit with a 4 on it talking. I'm like, dude, I can't believe this right now, bro.
I was saying the same thing. I was saying the exact same thing.
It was like No Way Home when
Like,
they
this
showed
doesn't
up.
feel
It was
real.
like, bro.
This is
So
awesome.
I loved when the alarms go off and he's like, "Oh, we've been breached," and Doctor Strange is like, "No shit." So she breaks in, destroys all of these robots, and I did catch when one of the robots was like, "Oh, Ultron commands you." I was like, "Ooh, okay, it's interesting." I don't know what that. I feel like that's a little indication of where the world is. Maybe Iron Man did something. Maybe his plan worked in Age of Ultron. Maybe I feel like that's kind
Build
of what it
armor
was.
around the world.
So then Wanda walks in like the only fucking beast, and you see Christine trying to break out America, and Wanda gets there, and they're like, and then the Illuminati show up.
You see her walk out of the
And
fog.
I want to, yeah, and I wanted to say that I didn't know what the Illuminati was coming into this movie. I heard so many people, oh, the Illuminati, and I had no idea what it was. No idea. I didn't know what it was in the comics. I didn't know they were basically keeping the multiverse in check. I didn't know what it was.
I didn't know either.
And which I'm not mad about. So
yeah, I purposely didn't look into it.
So yeah, because I know when Winter Soldier came out, people were like, "Oh, who's Winter Soldier?" And they looked it up and they saw it was Bucky. They were like, "Shit!"
Mad. Don't look it up. Just wait for the movie.
Well, I think they revealed that in one of the trailers anyway, but still.
Oh, okay.
So they basically, Wanda's the Illuminati is like, "Stop! This is ridiculous. Your kids are not dead. I mean, your kids are not real. This is dumb." And I loved this line of dialogue where John Krasinski's like, I can't believe I just say that. John Krasinski is like, "Oh, you can't do this. This is madness. No pun intended." And then Wanda is like, "Tell me something. Is the wife of your kids alive?" Which we got the kids are alive, which are in the comics. They have powers, and that's awesome. A couple people in my theater were like, "Yay, let's go!" And
like, do you have kids?
And
is their
he
mother
was
alive?
like, "Yeah," and she says, "Good, because someone's going to be left to raise them."
I said, "Left to raise them," and proceeded to turn this man into confetti, bro.
So
turn this dude into spaghetti.
Oh no, I think it was John Krasinski. John Krasinski is like, "Oh, Black Bolt can blow your head off with one word."
That happens. And one whisper from his mouth.
My man's was psyching himself up, bro. He said, "Yeah, I'm about to fuck this bitch up." And she says, as calmly as possible, "What mouth?
What mouth?"
And it zooms out, and she basically pulled a Neo from the Matrix.
Yep.
And I didn't think this was gonna happen. And he's trying to talk, and his fucking head explodes. The whole
when that happened,
theater, bro, was.
I said, they went there,
dude.
They really went there.
You literally go poof.
The back of his head exploded, bro.
And bro, his head looked like a fucking deflated balloon, bro. Yo, it was insane.
It did, though. I said, "Is this like, MCU, bro?"
Oh my god! And then I'm not gonna lie, I thought the way they did Mr. Fantastic was kind of lame. They just,
really?
I don't know. Like, the kill was creative, but I feel like I can't believe I'm saying that. The kill was creative, exactly. But I feel like he kind of did nothing. He just like
he didn't do anything. I mean, what can he do against Wanda though?
No, I'm not saying he can do some. I feel like Peggy got a lot compared to him.
Peggy did get a lot.
Peggy was putting in work. Yeah. So she proceeds to fucking shred this motherfucker into annihilation. His head pops like a balloon.
I gotta see this movie again,
bro. Dude, I've watched the scene like 5 times on YouTube, and that was before I saw it again yesterday. And so Peggy and Captain Marvel look at each other and they're like, "Well, let's go," and they start fighting her. And Professor X is telling him, "Oh, I see the good in you. You're good." And Mortal's like, "Fuck this shit. I'm still here. My decision matters, and we'll make the decision when they come back." And I was like,
"They ain't coming back, bro."
About that,
I'm sorry to tell you, bro.
That was a Sam Raimi line. That was so unintentionally funny. Let's chat real quick before we talk about. So Doctor Strange did destroy. Yeah. Okay. Wanda looked like someone from Evil Dead. Yeah,
she did. Especially
Larry Houdini. Love the name. Is a new sub. Houdini. Let's go, brother. Thank you. Love this movie. I was so mind blown. The throw room scene is crazy. Black Bolt's head imploded. Yes, he did.
It did.
Need to see this movie again. Captain Carter. Yeah, that was great. I've seen people say that was a little corny. I was like, nah, that was great. She was like, haven't you had enough shit? I could do this all day. I was like, oh, that's cool. So she throws Captain Marvel through a wall, and Peggy and her are going at it. And she throws the fucking shield, and Wanda catches it. I didn't know what was gonna happen
with magic. Yeah,
I didn't know what was gonna happen. She fucking does a 360 and throws the shield through her fucking body.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could not
It
believe it.
it reminded me of Spider-Man 2002 with Green
Goblin.
Goblin. Yeah, with Green Goblin, it felt like that. Like, oh.
Dude, when she did that, in terms of me and the scene, I was done. I was like, I couldn't fucking believe it. Me and Kevin were both like this for like 3 minutes, bro. I I could not believe it, bro. She fucking split her in half, literally.
Put her in
And
two.
they showed the shield on the wall with the blood on the CGI. The blood did look a little
See,
CGI
it
ish.
did. I agree with that. I was
It
gonna
looked
say
like it
that.
was like slipping off the shield rather than
Yeah.
like it being there.
Splattered. Yeah.
But it was just it was fucking crazy. So then Mordo and Doctor Strange start getting into it because Mordo was like, I'm gonna just fucking kill you, fuck it. Which I was like, all right, that's a little weird. I was
Yeah.
like, wouldn't you want to use him to help you fight this bitch right now? So Mordo never gets a death or anything. He's just left in a
He's just
hole.
there. Yeah, he's left in a
That
pit.
shows you what the MCU thinks of Mordo, straight up. So they get into a little skirmish. I like that they both get the handcuffs
Mhm.
and they gotta fight. As the fucking asshole next to me said, street style. And they start going at it.
They really
And
was talking in your theater, bruh.
yeah, the
Dang.
whole movie. Uh,
It's really talking.
so they start going at it. I did like that though, that they both had the power thingies and they had to both fight hand to hand.
Mhm.
So then Wanda gets kills Captain Marvel, which is so lame to me. Like Captain Marvel was putting in a little bit of work, but then they showed her like I guess they were having like I'm gonna call it a Harry Potter wizard duel because they were both using their powers and
Mhm.
it looked like it. And you see like Captain Marvel's like armor coming off, and I was like, what is she doing? I don't really get that. And
Mhm.
then there's just an explosion, and then Wanda pulls a statue and it kills her. And I was
Yeah.
like, that
The
was it.
armor coming off was Wanda's power burning it off basically.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I felt like they killed her so lame, and I was like,
Yeah,
well,
in comparison to the other kills, yeah, when you have some awesome kills like that,
like how
with
cool would it
Black
have
Bolt
been if like
and
they were
Peggy,
fighting? Like how cool would it have been if they were fighting with their powers and Wanda pushed all the power into her? She fucking exploded, bro. Like
that
that
would
that would have
yeah,
been dope.
they already had the dude's head blow up.
Like I
I
don't
don't
need it to
know.
be like she explodes and she's like a fucking balloon with like blood and shit, but like have it
Mhm.
be like a power explosion where I forgot what movie it is where that happens, where
Mhm.
like or have it be like Venom in Spider-Man 3, where
Mm.
they blow him up and his body's not there, and you just see the thing. Like that would have been cool if they had her body blow up and you just have the little Captain Marvel thing on the floor, like she's
Yeah,
dead.
yeah,
That would have been cool, but no,
that would
she
have been
just
cool.
gets a statue thrown on her, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's a little underwhelming.
all
I
right.
agree.
And
A
I
little
told
underwhelming.
Kevin, I was like, well, her and her counterpart have something in common. They're both lame. Um. Also, I want to touch on that. I think I need the Russo brothers to come in and direct the Marvels because I feel like they're the only two that understand this character.
Mhm.
Because when she is not under their direction, she's fucking lame.
Mhm.
Even this actress who I liked her a lot, and I would argue is the best part of the first Captain Marvel. She doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
She's just pew 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 pew. I'm like,
yeah.
dude,
Well,
Peggy did more than you.
that's true. That's true. I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you something, but I forgot what it is. Move on. We'll move on.
So
It'll come back to me.
then Wanda finds Christine and America in the room, and Professor X walks in and he's like, enough of this shit. And I love the way they do the mind thing.
Hmm.
I like the way the MCU is using powers where in other movies they haven't shown it in the world. And what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that is like No Way Home, you see the little things when he's
Mm-hmm.
using the spider sense. I
Yep.
like that they're doing that with these characters that when they're doing something with their mind, you don't see it, but here you see it. When
Mm-hmm.
Professor S does his mind thing, you see the
The
waves.
waves, the
And I
mind waves.
really
Yeah.
like that. And this scene
Like
was
kind of like
great.
sonar.
Yeah, this scene was great. I love how they show how Wanda is trapped. You know, it's a little on the nose, but I do like it. She's like, "Oh, I'm trapped, help me!" And he
You see
knows
the
what's
little
happening.
TV. You see the little TV with
Hmm.
WandaVision playing too.
And he's like, "Oh, you're trapped, Wanda. Like it's not your fault. I'll help you." And I love that they play like a nuclear alarm,
Mm-hmm.
like that the bitch is coming. Which I don't really get why he didn't do anything. Like he couldn't sense that she was behind him or something.
He could, but he was trying to save Wanda. He
Yeah,
was trying to save
that's
the
true.
trapped Wanda.
So
But bro,
she comes behind him and just blah.
it
I
was
said
so quick too, bro. It was quick.
that was crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect that, bro.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
it
Professor
was
X,
awesome.
a fucking 80-year-old Sir Patrick Stewart, got a better kill than Captain Marvel.
She did. He did. He surely did.
Ridiculous. Patrick Stewart is a goat. It was kind of surreal seeing him in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. You
It
know,
was.
seeing being a fan of the X-Men since I was little. You know, seeing him, he looks so old, man, and it's kind of heartbreaking. You know, he's so old, but he's still
Yeah.
killing it, bro.
He's
He's
still. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
He
then
was in there walking around.
after this we get America and Christine finding Doctor Strange. I did think it was a little weird when they showed him running the silhouette. It looked like something was
Hmm.
coming,
Yeah, I like
and
that. And they kind of psyched you out a little bit.
I was like, okay, that was a little weird
I
because
was
it
like,
looked like
what
he
is
was
that?
running in place, and
Mm.
then he just slid across the screen. He's like, oh hey.
Yeah, they had no idea what that was though. I was like, what? Wait, what is that? Is that Doctor Strange?
So they go and I do like that America hugs him. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Oh,
that's
sweet.
nice. So then they Christine is like, oh, we have the Book of Ashanti here. It's here. So let's go. We'll get it. And you can beat Wanda. So then we get basically a fucking Michael Myers chase sequence in an MCU movie. Wanda is fucking blowing through these doors like crazy. She's all like fucking zombified and shit.
You see
Oh,
her
and
red
she's got
eyes.
the blood from the Ultron fucking things on her face. I was like, dude, Raimi,
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, bro.
Raimi did it, man. He was in his bag.
So Raimi, Wanda keeps blowing through the doors, boom, 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 and then we get one scene which I do admit is a little bit too long, but I did like the scene. I like the scene, but I was like, at a point, I was like, all right, I know what's gonna happen. Just get to it. So they're behind this door, and I feel like they were showing him like analyze like what was gonna happen or
Hmm.
what he was gonna do, but I feel like it's a little bit too long, like a little
Yeah,
bit, like a couple seconds too long.
I
So
can see
then
where you feel that way.
Wanda pops out from the fucking wall like a beast. You just see her
You,
eyes. You're like,
you just see her eyes,
yo,
bro, and kind of like her silhouette. Like you don't really see
it was
her. It
awesome.
was dark.
And he pours a bunch of water on her. He's like, I hope you can swim. Woof. So they go to the Book of Ashanti. They get there, and Wanda shows up and takes America, and they throw destroys the book. And I did like how when the book was on the floor, you see the page with the star of America Chavez, and it just. Whoosh. I was like, that's cool because they needed it for her, and throws Doctor Strange and Christine through the multiverses. I wish we could have seen that again. We could have got another scene of them going through the multiverses. So then Wanda kidnaps America and throws her back to 616. Can't believe I'm even saying that. It's so dope. 616. And then the other Wanda is like, oh my God, what's happening? And then she just jumps up back to the Illuminati throne, and that was it. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Where's that gonna go? Turns out it
Probably
goes
nowhere.
nowhere.
Yeah.
I feel like she's still like she's just sitting in the throne room. She's like, I own this bitch. Everyone's dead. Well, Mordo's still there.
Yeah. Just leave
So
him in the pit.
Yeah. So Christine and Doctor Strange end up in this world, which I feel like it was supposed to be kind of the world that they were talking about, where Doctor Strange destroyed everything,
Hmm.
but there was a Strange
It's an
here,
actual
so
Strange, yeah.
I don't know if
It,
that's
it
it.
felt
Still
like the
might be though.
it felt like the world from What If.
Hmm.
It felt like that world.
And I liked how he walks into the room and you see this like fucking diorama thing, and you see all these like bodies and shit, and you're like, what the fuck, like that's some
Hmm.
dark shit.
Hmm.
So you find out that this other Strange has the dark hold, and they have a music fight essentially with notes, and I thought this was so unique and awesome. I thought it was awesome seeing this. I wish they would have played with it a little bit more. And what I mean by that is there's parts of it where they take the notes and he throws them, and as he hits him with the notes, the score of the movie's playing.
Yeah, you
They
can
don't
hear it
do
in
it
the
the
score.
whole time. I wish they did do it the whole time, because how
Yeah.
cool would it have been if the whole scene was quiet and the score was coming off the notes? That would have
Hmm.
been so awesome. It probably would have been my favorite scene in the movie if they
I,
did that.
I I liked this scene a lot. I just struggled to find its relevancy in the particular story. Um
Because he has to get
I
the door cold.
no, I know that. I'm just saying, like, as far as the music notes, like
Oh
Doctor
yeah,
Strange isn't like exactly musical. So that's why I was just kind of like,
it was
this
a
is
little weird at
this is an
first.
interesting scene, but it's fun.
I
I
thought
liked
when
it.
when he slammed his hand on the
On the
piano,
piano.
I
Hmm.
was like, I feel like
I
they're
was like,
gonna do some horror stuff in
I
this
said,
scene.
what are you about to do?
It
And I
was
liked what
cool
I
though.
saw.
I loved when he threw the notes at him and he rearranged it and made it
Hmm.
Beethoven. Ba, ba, ba,
Yeah,
ba. I
yeah,
was like,
that
that's
was
so
dope.
cool.
That
And I
was
like how
fun.
they kept rearranging things to make composition. I was like, that's really
Hmm.
cool, man. I want to see more unique things like this in the MCU.
Hmm.
So eventually he beats him and he throws him out a fucking window and gets like annihilated.
Yeah.
My man's was DUD.
And there was this fence outside that with spikes, and he fell on
Yeah,
the spike.
that was crazy. There is a kill count in this
There's a
movie,
kill
bro.
count in this movie though, for real.
So then Strange is like, oh yeah, I gotta use the dark hold so I can get back to her. And Christine is like, oh,
Hmm.
you're just the same. You're the same as the other ones. And he's like,
Hmm.
listen, it might be, but it's what I gotta do, bro. Like, just
Right.
let me be.
Yeah.
So then um we get him going through the multiverse, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna take over one of my bodies. And then she was like, oh, but I think most of them are dead, right? The other strangers, they're mostly dead,
I don't
if
think
I'm
they
not mistaken.
established. I don't think they established that most of them were dead, but he did choose one that
because
was
because
dead.
America was like, oh, that there's no other like you, and then he was like, oh, well, there has to be one.
Well,
So
she was saying that the other users that she met didn't make it work with Christine. Oh, you good?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, I love the line. He was like, oh, I don't have to be alive. And I knew when he buried that other stranger, I was like, he's gonna come back somehow.
I didn't
uh
think that at all. I was
I
like,
thought that.
what
I
is
was
this
like, that's
gonna?
that's gonna come back somehow. So
I'm
then
glad that
sure
it did.
enough, he summons the dead strange from the beginning of the movie. And when it comes out of the grave, oh my god, the Evil Dead tie-ins, oh my lord. Seeing the hand come out of the grave with the Dutch angle, I was like,
Yep.
dude, it's Evil Dead. I
Yep.
love it. So this strange comes alive and he's all fucking contorted and shit. I was
Hmm.
like, dude, this is awesome.
Half of his mouth is gone.
Yes. I did think that CGI was a little wonky, especially when he was talking.
You don't feel like that was practical?
No,
Like
that
in some
doesn't.
in some instances?
Some, yeah, but
Hmm.
it reminded me a little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean when they're
Hmm.
all like, I know you haven't seen them, but there's scenes where they look like dead and
Hmm.
and they're talking and shit. Alex
Yeah.
would know what I'm talking about. He's seen Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So the basically This scene reminded me a lot of the Flash with the time revenants from the show, the time revenants that
Hmm.
when you do something bad, they come after you. That's
Yeah,
what this reminded me of.
it
I don't
definitely
know
is the
what
same
they're
concept.
called, so I'm just gonna call them the
Tormented
revenants.
souls.
Yeah, the tormented souls, they come after him for
See.
doing this,
Hmm.
and they're taking over him, and he's like, I'm gonna use this. He makes a fucking cape out of dead souls,
It's
bro.
like wings, bro. Ugh.
When
It
they're
was so
taking over
awesome,
him,
bro. Oh man.
and he wakes up again. Oh, I also like the scene where Christine has to take off I liked how they kept doing the zoom in and the eyes, and then the souls were coming out of the eyes,
Oh yeah.
and
Hmm.
she's like, ah, and they show
Hmm.
the camera.
She
I
had
was
to
like, that's really
held on to the
cool.
camera like that.
And she had to take them out. When he
Hmm.
wakes up again and that musical cue strikes, that bam, I was like, bro, oh my god, it's so cool. And, he makes a cape out of dead souls, bro.
Yep.
Unbelievable. You see him, the scene in the trailer where he's fucking like all zombie fighting, you see all the shit, that is him. He's got a soul of capes and he flies to fight Wanda. You see Wong, he takes out one of the things. I love this. He was like, come on, and all the other monsters show up, and he's like,
Hmm.
oh fuck. So then Strange shows up, takes him out. And I love Wong, how he's like, Strange, you're here. Yeah,
Strange.
um I love how when he comes up and he sees him, he goes, I don't even want to know.
Hmm.
It's like, bro, it's been a long day, bro. I just want to deal with this bitch and get out.
Hmm.
So eventually, her and him and Wanda fight, and they trap her in this fucking like thing, and it reminded me a lot of What If. And Wong is like, "Oh, you got to take her power. That's the only way." And he's like, "Fuck." So he takes her out of the prison thingy that America was in, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna take my powers now. It's okay." And I liked how she was accepting to it,
Yeah.
because in the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie, she's like, "Oh, fuck you. You're gonna take my powers." Now she's like, "Listen, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. Just do it."
She saw it firsthand the destruction, so she was like, "I'll sacrifice myself for the greater good."
And so he's like, "No, you can be here. Go ahead. That's all you."
Hmm.
And I love when she first hits Wanda, and she's like, "Oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna fuck your ass up." Boom, 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 boom. And so she punches her, and this multiverse opens, and you see it looked like Doom. If anyone has played the game Doom, it looked straight
Yeah.
out of Doom. And I was like, is that hell? Like legitimately hell?
It's
Like
the underworld.
she was about a fucking Friday the 13th part 9, this bitch, bro. Send her straight to hell.
Yep.
But instead she goes, I'll give you what you want, and opens the portal to the WandaVision universe. And I thought when she did this, I thought she was just gonna lock her in
Trap
there.
her in there. Yeah.
But we get this great scene. I missed the scene where they sing to her. It's not really important. It's a great scene though. I like that scene.
It was cringy to me a little bit, but it was funny.
So she shows up and the kids are like, "What the fuck? Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is a witch
Like,
version of my
mom.
mom." So then
They didn't even recognize her as the
yeah,
mom, her mom. They were like,
it's the
"Mom, get
witch. It's
down
the
here."
witch. So Wanda. Okay, I'm gonna say Scarlet Witch and then Wanda for the
Wanda.
WandaVision. So Scarlet
Yes.
Witch throws Wanda into the fucking kitchen or whatever, and
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, get away from me! Get away from me!" And they start throwing their toys at her, which was kind of funny. Um, but I like that though. They were like, "No, we'll do anything for our mom. Like, get away from me."
Mhm.
So then I love this scene because it shows that that version of Wanda can have them, but she can't because she's that's just how it is.
Mhm.
This scene, man, oh my god, it's fantastic, and this scene solidifies Wanda being probably like top 2 MCU for me, to be honest.
Mhm.
She is awesome. I love her so much. Elizabeth Olsen is fantastic in this movie, and I love her. They
Yeah,
gave her
she
so
was.
much character development in less
Gave
time than
an
most
amazing arc.
MCU characters.
Yeah,
Because
gave her an amazing arc.
she's been around for 7 years. Some people in phase one haven't even gotten the character development that she has.
Yeah,
And it's,
I agree with that.
it's kind of crazy that she's
Hmm.
been around for almost half the time and she's gotten this much character development. Fantastic. So we get that, and the portal closes and she's like, damn, I can't get them. I can't have them.
Yeah.
So
Do you,
she,
real quick, do you feel
yeah,
like that's the same multiverse? That's the same universe that the Illuminati was in?
no.
No,
Mm-mm.
because when she came downstairs and they were calling her, she had like a wound on her face, like on her forehead. As far as I remember, so I was like, I feel like that might have been the same universe
Well,
as the Illuminati.
well, it might have been, but I don't know because remember but that version of Wanda was killing everybody.
Yeah,
And then she was left in the thing. So I don't
yeah,
know.
but it looked like she went home after that
I'd have to
because.
see it again because I don't remember what you're saying. I don't
Hmm.
remember her having a wound.
Hmm.
Um, so then Wanda basically Doctor Octopus is the Spider-Man 2. That's basically what she does. She's like, oh, I
Hmm.
gotta destroy the Darkhold. I gotta destroy it
Yep.
forever.
Exactly.
So she destroys it. I
The
personally
temple.
don't think she's dead. I think the Scarlet Witch Darkhold version is dead. Alex says it's the same universe. It might be. I don't know. I'm not disagreeing. It could be. I don't know. I've only seen
Hmm.
the movie twice and I barely remember it. So, well, that little detail.
Particular part.
I
Yeah,
just sat here for almost
it
an hour talking about
explained
the
the
whole
whole
movie.
movie.
So, yeah, I don't think Wanda is dead. I wish they would have elaborated. Maybe the post credit scene, maybe, but we don't know where she's going or what the future is.
How do you feel if that is the end for Wanda?
It's
Because
fine because
personally, I'm good with it.
I'm fine. I mean, if you're asking me if I want more Wanda, I do because I love her so much. But
Hmm.
uh, if they ended her character here, I'd be okay with it because her arc is finished from
Hmm.
WandaVision.
Hmm.
So it makes sense. It's not like, Mordo, like we never saw Mordo again. That's a problem.
Hmm.
Uh I'd be okay with it. I would be a little salty because I
Hmm.
never get to see her again because
That's
I
your
love
wife,
her.
man. That's your wife. I
That's
get
my
it.
wife. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I got someone else based off the post credit scene now. So that happens, and they fast forward, and America is now in Carmitage. She's learning sorcery,
Sorcery.
and she's
Hmm.
like, "This is so fucking hard." Meanwhile, I can open a portal without blinking. It's hilarious. And I
Which I
said
thought
to
was a
my,
funny scene
it
because
was funny.
she couldn't, well, because she couldn't use her powers. She didn't know how to use her powers in the beginning of
Yeah.
the movie. But yeah,
So
she figured it out by the end.
I'm sitting there the second time, and I'm like, if she learns, sorcery like masterfully, she's about to be one of the most broken characters in the MCU, bro. Because how
Mm,
is she gonna be a sorcerer and she can travel through the multiverse?
bruh.
That's a little
Bruh.
broken, bro.
That that's dope though. That means that they can
It's
really use
cool.
her though.
It's cool.
Be
So
part of the
we
Young Avengers.
we get a nice scene. Oh yeah, she's definitely gonna be Young Avengers. She's only
Hmm.
16. She's gonna be Young
I'm
Avengers.
I'm actually excited to see this character again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I am.
So then, Wong and Doctor Strange have a dialogue moment, and I liked
Hmm.
it. And her and America and Doctor Strange have a nice little cute exchange. And I was
Hmm.
like, I like you too. I hope
Yeah.
they keep you guys together. They kind of remind me of Iron Man and Tony Stark and Spider Man a little bit
Hmm.
with their
Yeah.
relationship, and I hope they keep that because it's a strong relationship in the making for the MCU.
Yeah.
So the ending of the movie is Doctor Strange fixes the watch, which we've seen this watch so many fucking times in between the first movie and this one, and I'm like, why is this watch so significant? Other than
They sh-
opening the door, I was like,
no.
wait, why is this damn watch so significant?
No, they showed it. They showed it in the movie when they were going back in his memories.
Yeah, I know, but it's
Hmm.
just like they show this damn watch so many times.
Yeah.
So he fixes the watch, and I wish we would have seen maybe a scene with him and 616 Christine again. You know,
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I agree.
he's walking down the street, and I was like, what is the final like moment of this movie gonna be? So then he starts having a fucking attack, an aneurysm or whatever,
In the middle of the
and he
street.
lifts his head, and nobody's doing anything. You know
Yeah,
that's
they
New
just
York.
walking
That's New
past.
York for you, bro. You get hit by a fucking car, New Yorkers will walk right past
Yo,
you.
the way
So
nobody reacted was
yeah,
hilarious
so
too, though.
he's having
He
an
over here.
attack
Ah,
or
ah.
whatever, and he lifts his head, and the fucking eye that the other Strange had just poop, and then the
Yep.
movie ends.
Yeah.
I looked at Kevin and said, "What the fuck?"
I don't
And
really I don't really completely understand that ending, but I do know it was due to him using the dark hold.
I don't know. It's confusing because they were like, when you're using it, you get corrupted, but the thing is destroyed now. So why is
Those effects
that
still
happening?
those effects still the effects of the dark hold still
Yeah,
are in him, I guess.
that is very unclear to me.
They didn't
Uh,
clarify.
and maybe it's one of the scenes that was cut because the original cut of this movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Hmm.
Maybe it's an exposition scene that's not. I'm very curious if any, because Spider-Man doesn't have any. If this movie has deleted scenes and if they'll be on the 4K.
Yeah.
So post credit scenes. The first one, as I stated, was very rushed, but I still think it's fine. Uh, there were rumors of Charlize Theron showing up in the MCU. We didn't know where. A lot of people were like, "Oh, she's gonna be in Doctor Strange," and I was like, "Playing who?"
It was confirmed.
So she shows up looking gorgeous as ever in this awesome purple suit. I was like, "I don't
I
know who
said
you are."
I said the purple.
I was like, "I don't know who you are, but you look awesome." And she's
Hmm.
like, "Oh, you created a blah blah blah." I forgot what she said. She was like, you made a mess of something, and I'm here to fix." And she fucking tears a hole in reality. And when she opened the hole, I thought I saw Dormammu.
It looked like the world Dormammu was on.
I don't know what that
That's what it
means.
looked like.
Maybe we get an actual Dormammu in the third movie, assuming that's what
Maybe.
they're teasing. And Strange is like, "Yeah, okay, let's go."
He said,
And
"Let's go. Come on,
he
Bobanose."
he
And
changes up.
his eye opened, his
Yeah,
middle
it
eye
opens up.
opened. So
I
he's like, he's
don't
cool with
know,
it now. Like
because the scenes are definitely two different times,
yeah,
because he that happens at the end, and
of
then
the movie.
the post
Yeah,
credit scene,
he's cool with it.
he's
He's
in
no,
different
he's.
clothes and everything.
Hmm. But
I
it
oh,
felt like they shot that final 30 seconds of the movie, changed
mhm.
his clothes real quick, and then walked
Yeah,
back down the street the other way.
I don't know.
I was
I
like,
don't
is
know.
why two ending scenes with him walking down the street like that? That's
I
kind of
don't know.
weird.
It felt very reshot, and it
Mm,
felt kind of lazy, especially on the second watch. I was like, this doesn't feel like this was supposed to be like this.
mm,
I don't know.
mm-hmm,
But Charlize Theron's character is Clea. I think
mm-hmm.
she is a multiversal character who's kind of like the Illuminati, where she oversees things. Charlize Theron is in the MCU, man.
Yep.
That's awesome. She's one of my favorite actresses working. She's fucking a badass in everything she's in. And I wish she was kind of like a Black Widow character where she was actually kicking ass and shit. But
I don't know. She might show us something in the next project. Maybe.
she might. But Charlize Theron, man, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm happy she's in the MCU, and I don't want to say I'm looking forward to what's next, because to be honest, I really kind of have no interest in a Doctor Strange 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. Uh, I really don't feel like this character can carry a movie, which is why Wanda is in this movie and is given what she's given.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. Uh, if Sam Raimi comes back to direct it, I'm definitely intrigued. I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna be the horror movie that this was, but I feel
Yeah.
like it'd still be a good movie regardless.
I feel like this film went deeper into the horror aspects than any of the Spider-Man movies. Maybe Spider-Man 3 more. But
Spider-Man 3
like
had no horror.
even then, with this movie, it felt like pretty much throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Where Spider-Man 3, it was only in certain segments of the film.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I appreciated the style and the horror aspects of this film so much. I remembered what I was gonna ask you earlier.
Mhm.
Um, how do you feel about America Chavez's backstory and like what that means for her character in the future?
I like the backstory. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they're gonna go. I do think a plot point of the next movie, or assuming she's in the next movie, I do think that the plot point, a plot point of the next movie, would be finding her parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he would have said, "Oh, they're not dead. They're probably just in another universe." I don't think
Yeah,
he
they
would have
just
said that if it wasn't gonna mean anything.
right.
Which I'm okay with, because her backstory is cool.
What if they
Uh,
announce America Chavez movie, and that's kind of the point of that movie?
I don't think she can carry her own movie by herself,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not opposed to it. I'd be kind of okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I
It
would
might be
actually
like
be
a
okay with that.
it might feel like a Miss Marvel type movie.
Or I feel like it could kind of be the MCU's Into the Spider Verse, where it's a really emotional movie, and they're going through the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that could be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Second post credit scene is a gag, which it's fine. We haven't had a gag MCU post credit scene in a good bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last one was
Was it Homecoming?
no, it was Ant-Man and the Wasp, because they had the ant playing the drums.
Oh yeah.
And so,
Well, wait. With Shang Chi, was it?
well, no, Shang-Chi wasn't a gag though. They were teasing the sister for the Disney Plus show.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking about the mid credit. Well, yeah, the mid credit scene.
I'm thinking about the post,
I
because
get you.
normally that's the gag.
I get you.
I've seen people say this wasn't really funny. I got a good laugh out of this. I'm not gonna lie. So
I could
it's
definitely see how it was divisive.
in the movie. Doctor Strange puts this, I guess, loop on Bruce Campbell, and he keeps hitting himself, and he's like, "Oh, it'll be over in 3 weeks,"
Mm-hmm.
and this poor man was punching and hitting himself for 3 weeks, and I loved how he stops and he's like, and then he looks
He looks at
directly at the
the
camera and goes,
camera.
"It's
It,
over."
yeah,
It was
meaning the
awesome.
movie.
I loved it though. It was
Yeah,
cool. It was definitely a Sam Raimi post credit scene, but I
it
liked it. I
definitely
was like,
was.
that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, 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 wow. Hour and 46.
Almost as
Wow,
long as the
wow,
movie.
wow. Almost as long. Well, that is the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of
Multiverse of
Madness
Madness.
review. Pretty sure we covered everything. If we missed something and you guys want to know my thoughts, let me know in the comment section. I will respond. But yeah, man, Multiverse of Madness is in the bag. The next MCU movie is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Not really looking forward to it, but let's see if another trailer changes my mind. In terms of content from me, I don't know what the next movie review will be. It might be Top Gun Maverick. I don't know. If it's not Top Gun Maverick, then it'll probably be Jurassic World or Lightyear. I might do Lightyear. I don't know. Uh, but
I guess depending on how
during
you feel about it.
during that downtime though, I might start doing my summer watch alongs. I do want to bring you guys watch alongs. I want to have some fun on here. I've got a ton of summer watch alongs planned, and I think we're gonna have a good time in the summer. In terms of Instagram, this week I am taking a break. There's nothing coming out. I was gonna review the original Firestarter, but I didn't even finish it. It's not very good. Uh, and there's no Disney Plus shows this week. And then Firestarter comes out on Friday, so I might that Firestarter review might come out either Friday or Saturday. I say Friday or Saturday because I will be leaving to Florida on Thursday night,
And
and
taking a vacation.
I might not be able to watch it until late Friday. So we'll
Yeah.
see how I feel about that. But yeah, man, I'm taking a break on Instagram, and not to pat myself on the back, but I fucking deserve it because I've been putting in work on
You've been putting
Instagram.
out the content, man. You
I've
have.
been putting in work. But in terms of what's there already, today I posted my review for this movie in written form. If you guys want to check that out or hit up with a like if you haven't already, please do so. Thursday I reviewed Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith for Revenge of the Fifth. Um, and we talked about the Moon Knight finale, which was awesome. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It is now my favorite Disney Plus show. I loved it so much. It has unfortunately dethroned WandaVision. It's heartbreaking, but you know, if it's dethroning WandaVision, I'm not complaining, bro, because awesome. And I reviewed the first Doctor Strange too, also. Uh, but yeah, that's it for me. AJ, let them know where you can find you, bro.
Bro, I thanks for having me on here. First and foremost, it was a fun time talking WandaVision or talking Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and yeah, in the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, gotta don't forget the end. But yeah, so you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Letterboxd, AJ Reacts 2, all across the board, all one word. And I talk movies, music, TV, all kinds of stuff like that. I do have a Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness review coming out on my Instagram page soon. Either if not tonight, tomorrow it'll be dropping. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I don't think I have too much planned for coming up this week.
Yeah, man, it's kind of a dead week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what's happening, in the long run because I've got finals and
Mm-hmm.
well, okay. Next, not this week, but the next week coming up, that's all Stranger Things. That is, see,
Mm-hmm.
I'm reviewing all 3 seasons of Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that's gonna be used for. But thank you guys so much for interacting in the chat. I love this interaction so much. You guys killed it. I'm glad all you guys enjoyed Multiverse of Madness just like we did. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you on the next one. Everybody have a great night.